Right, let's move on to our final game that had a goal, and it arrived in the 97th minute as Joe Shaughnessy bundled it in after Luke McCowan hit the post from a free kick as Dundee went up to the Highlands and defeated Ross County 1-0. Now, the big kind of headline for this one was Derek Adams' comments after the game. However, we're not going to talk about that on this show, firstly because we're already at 45 minutes and we are going to be doing that on our YouTube channel. So this is going to be an exclusive bit of content. It's only going to be on YouTube. So if you want to watch that, go to Terrace Podcast on youtube.com, obviously. You should have heard of it by now. And you could watch
YouTube.com?
Yeah. It's up and coming.
Oh, don't let me say.
And yeah, we'll talk everything about, we'll chat through Adam's comments about his Morecambe team being 100 times better than this Ross County team, and about, which is a lot of shite, and Scottish football being really bad to watch this season, which has got more of a point about it. But for the game itself, Dundee winning 1-0, County looking the brighter team earlier on, Simon Murray looking very, very lively. One of those kind of Simon Murray games you get where the kind of headless chicken routine also includes with a ball at his feet, and it can be really hard for opposing defenders to get it off him. But County couldn't score, Dundee kind of became more threatening and ultimately got the goal. Does Joe Shaughnessy ever score goals other than the last 5 minutes of games?
Oh, certainly a fucking Easter Road he does all the time.
It's always late on Easter Road.
Yeah, it's always late Easter Road.
He scored twice against Livingston earlier this season. That was late on as well.
I'm trying to rack my brains thinking when he definitely did score for Aberdeen. I remember him. I can visualise him celebrating after scoring from a corner, but I don't know whether that's like AI generated in my head.
But he's quite good in the box, attackingly, because he isn't one of those players, you know, who just is sort of like shows his aces straight away. He does, like, you see him move round and he'll come in late, and like you see him in late on in games basically go up front, and he doesn't look completely out of place. Joe Shaw, a lot of that, I'm using Easter Road, but I see him score, like, coming in late into the box and scoring diving headers from open play, and you're like, that's pretty, even though it's a shambles, blah blah, it's still impressive. And that one, he's following that in. He's got no right to get it, but it's just you gamble and you just go in and you get it, and he gets his goal.
Some of the interesting things for this one, I thought it was a bit of a... I think he maybe done it because he scored. I think he scored off the bench a couple of times in recent games. Zach Robinson, he started instead of Rudden, but something we've not said, and which probably contributed to the football being absolutely dreadful this weekend, is the conditions were rubbish up and down the country. It was very rainy, it was very windy as well, and you could particularly see that in the St Mirren game, which we'll get to soon enough, where the ball was like blown off the corner flag. And so you kind of think Rudden would maybe fit this game a bit more, like somebody to harry defenders as to just run around, and Robinson's not quite that type of player. He's more kind of back to goal, kind of awkward with the ball, but he's kind of got a bit more ability about him. But Robinson wasn't any good, and they could have just done with just playing Rudden instead. So that was the only interesting thing for me when it came to Dundee's. The one for County was... Derek Adams just continuing the Malky Mackay thing, taking off Jan Danda, took him on and brought on Max Sheaf. What are you doing?
Who are you? I was impressed. I was just watching the highlights because I was going to watch a game on Wisecat, and I don't hate myself that much. So when I looked at what was left, I was like, oh no, I'm not finishing work and then just sitting down and watching. I'm just not doing it. Nobody cares. But with them, it was interesting to see like how much belief Dundee still have, because they were the ones really who turned the screw late on in the game, and obviously Beck had the chance where he dribbled into the box, and that was nearly brilliant. But that was late, and they were piling on pressure. County had done it, sort of huffed and puffed during the earlier game, and I think I like that, because you're not telling me when Dundee first came up and they were going a point at Dingwall, I'd say they'd be delighted with it most times. Most clubs traditionally would be, but it looked like they were talking. He's got it like, no, like we can go on, we can win this. And I just think in terms of, again, that word mentality, you can see it as different at Dundee than what I expected it to be at the start of the season.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just the Owen Beck effect of doing something like that every game, but it does feel like they've got a wee bit of a swagger about them.
Yeah, and that really helps, because Gary was obviously they've lost Portales. He's out for 3 months. Tony Dores, yeah. He's out for 3 months, so that's really bad. And they moved Donnelly into right centre back. So it started because as a wee massive chat about Dundee and how their team really works, the makeup of it, and Beck being like a flying down one side, and you've got McGee who's quite safe on there, defends lot. Antu's also comfortable coming into midfield in the centre because he's comfortable in that position. That helps it all work. So they might have to do a bit of the grind now. You think that he's a really, as a defender, really important part of how the makeup of their team, because he's really good on the ball, and the replacements aren't going to be like that.
But their goal coming into the season was just to stay up, and they're 10 points ahead of Livingston now, and they're only 5 ahead of Motherwell, who are currently 11th. They've got 2 games in hand over Motherwell, so it's kind of, you're already starting to think of Dundee going, is your aspirations now more than that?
Should be. I mean, they won't say it, but behind closed doors, they'll be talking about the top 6. Definitely. And there's no reason why not. They've got more of an identity than 99% of the teams in that league. They do. They know what they want to do. They know what they want to be, whereas no one else does. It's all just fucking throwing darts at a board every week for everyone else.